welcome to today's edition of Prime on My Media Prime. This day we are going to be looking at cyber security. We're going to be discussing on how to handle cyber security threats in Africa, Cameroon in particular, using the case of Essoka Cyber Security Division. They have been in this domain and are looking forward to developing and exploring it better for the good of Cameroon and Africa at large. So we are going to be looking at what cyber security is all about and how we can harness our African resources to effectively fight this phenomenon, which is costing many companies and individuals in millions, why not in billions. We are going to be discussing this topic with our permanent consultant, who is in the house. Apostle Ambe, Valentine Ngwa is here with us. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, Companions. Good evening, those viewers of Prime Hour. It's always a privilege to be here to communicate and educate the audience watching us tonight. God bless you all for being part of today's program.
We also in the company of Dr. Coach Achu Gustave. He is a corporate development strategist at cyber strategist instructor at the Essoka Cyber Security Division. We are glad to have you with us this evening for the first time, Doctor.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to be here.
Okay. We are also in the company of Mr. Waa Nkeng Musi. He is the Director of Communications of Essoka Cyber Security Division. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you very much, Leo, and thank you and greetings to all the viewers of Prime Hour.
I don't know whether Ayaba Carlson is connected. He is also a specialist in the domain. He's supposed to be participating from Yaoundé. Is Carlson available? If he's there, good evening and welcome. Okay, he's not yet there. I'll start with you, Doctor. Let me start with him, eh?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, lots have been said about cyber security for decades today, but very little is done about it. We hardly find persons who boldly tell you that this is my domain in Cameroon. Do you think it's a domain that has been highly neglected?
Yes, Mr. Leo, they say no matter how rough the jungle is, the lion will never eat grass. There is a way a child is cultured. That child grows with that mentality. Things like cybersecurity are not part of the curriculum in our education. They are not part of the foundation of our upbringing. The technology is not familiar with the environment. So our children are not interested in it because that's not what they were given from the very beginning. Secondly, a lion cub does not eat meat because it loves meat. That's what it was given from childbirth. You will see a lot of lawyers today in Cameroon, journalists, doctors, teachers, nurses, because that was what we were fed from the very foundation. So things that are coming a bit strange in our society, we look at like as if they are aliens. People bring in those kind of things, of which those things are of more importance to us than the things they gave us. You know, the colonial master gave us an education that is more theoretical, not practical. And that's the reason why you see our children today, when they hear things like cyber security, it looks like some strange topic to them. And that is the reason why we have a very low percentage. Notwithstanding the value of the thing in the society, the importance of the thing, European nations that introduce these things are more deep into it and they understand the essence and the importance. But because we are not fed these things from the very beginning, it looks like it's something strange in the society. So I think it has to do with our orientation and our upbringing. Like I said, no matter how bad the jungle is, the lion cannot eat grass.
Yes, we are talking cyber security. Doctor, what is it all about?
Yeah, cybersecurity is about securing information and information and telecommunication, In fact, it's about securing our digital assets of this current digital era. Whether you're talking about information technology or communication technologies, the technologies that communicate information, or the technologies that analyze, store information, and the services that come off that is to be able to secure that from disruption, from theft, from and stuff like that. So that pretty much is the layman's definition on cybersecurity, because we're on air. And the issue about cybersecurity is that we do not know that this is the era of it. we used to talk about the digital era, but the era has evolved into the information security era. It's now about securing the digital assets that made the digital era of almost the last 50 years, almost have a century. And so cybersecurity is important because every time we are in an era in the world, that era controls development. And so we are in an information security era that currently controls the way development is. So cybercrime is currently one of the major issues that is affecting global development across nations. And if not mitigated, then there is a tendency that promulgation is going to continuously hamper development even across Africa. To end to conclude on the question you asked, Africa is always wondering why we should be involved in cybersecurity, because a lot of people are like, but we do not have technology here. So by the way, who is hacking what? And so we do not have technology here. And so I want to clarify that in this definition. Cybersecurity, the reason why you should be concerned about the information security, whether it's the security of your data, whether it's credit card, preventing credit card fraud, whether it's mitigating identity theft, the reason why you should be concerned about that is because this assets, your identity, for example, your data is controlled by the era. It is not controlled by the fact that you're not using a phone that is an Android phone. It's controlled by the era. As long as you're in the digital era, your information is no longer your own. That the era has digitized and digitalized your information, and so whether you like it or not, you are on the era. The era controls everything about you, everything about companies, everything about corporations. So you could stay offline and use a phone that is not an Android phone, but it's not going to change that.
Yes, but almost everybody is involved in storing data on social media. Almost everybody is doing that. How do we explain that almost everybody is into it? Because whether you are using your computer or you are using your phone, you're storing data. Yeah. Seemingly, we care very little about its security. We think that there are some aliens, like he said, some people from somewhere who are supposed to secure whatever we are keeping out there.
Yeah, I think basically it's a mentality thing in Africa. Most people in Africa think when they talk about cyber security, it means some professionals are coming to protect the cyberspace, African cyberspace, not knowing that it begins with every individual being able to first know how to protect themselves, protect their cyberspace, their own cyberspace, before protecting our national cyberspace. So I think it's a concern at this time when we hear all over the world, many people are talking about hacking into systems, banking systems, oil, petroleum systems, and the meat sector that was recently hacked. I think these are some of the things that we are here to talk about and let people understand that now in Cameroon, because Apostle said at the beginning that maybe in Cameroon we don't have the facilities, it's not a career thing in Cameroon, people have not taken up cybersecurity as a profession, and yes, we are coming here now to say at Essoka Cyber Security Division we have this accreditation. It's an EC Council accredited exam center, an international information security institution and service provider. So we're here to talk about this, to let Cameroonians understand that in this digital era, Cameroon, we need to start as Cameroonians, we need to start protecting our digital space, and it begins with every individual taking a certification. And these certifications are international certifications, which I think we'll discuss in the course of the program.
Okay, we're going to be discussing Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa. But before I get to you, I want a doctor to tell us a little bit more about hackers. Who is a hacker, and how much damage can they cause to our cyberspace in Cameroon and in Africa?
Yeah. Well, a hacker is somebody who is a threat to the security of your information, to the security of your digital assets, and who will compromise the services that come off from the entire digital environment, from the entire environment that is being used or utilized, infrastructures that are being utilized by companies, cloud environments, networks, and computers, etc. That a hacker is somebody who bridges the environment without authenticating themselves, without the permissions that are put in place to be able to access this environment. That is who you would call and that is a very narrow definition, I must say, about a hacker, because a hacker has a broad environment to be able to commit cyber crime, to be able to commit a related crime. But in a very simple way, a hacker is somebody who is breaching information assets and their networks without permission, without the validity of the owners of these assets or these networks. And that is who a hacker is, or information itself.
How dangerous are these guys?
The hackers are as dangerous as somebody in
the coronavirus.
It's not as dangerous as the coronavirus alone. They're as dangerous as somebody in the death penalty.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you look at it, you realize that only this year, as of May 2001, you have 160 million records breached. 160 million records as of May. And you have IT governance, which is an IT organization, disclosing that 1 billion breached records also took place in April, about 4 billion in the first 4 months of this year. Then you have compromised clients. You have clients who are also compromised in mental health facilities in the UK. You have South Africa, where you have there was also a cyber attack in Virgin Active. You have Belgium's parliament and universities got hit by cyber attack only this year. You have decades of personal data was also stolen from the Australian National University. You have Japanese government agencies suffered data breach after Fuji hack. You have, as of April 29th, you have fuel delivery in southeast of the US was crippled for several days after a ransomware attack targeted the Colonial Pipeline. You have that the Colonial Pipeline has conferred, it paid about 4.4 million in ransom to the cyber criminal gang responsible for that attack. You have, as of May 30th, JBS, which is one of the largest meat suppliers in the world, suffered a ransomware attack disabling its beef and pork slaughterhouses, impacting facilities in the United States, in Canada, in Australia.
It's too complicated the way it can, I don't know, that businesses where
meat supply company. The last one I read is JBS,
and
a meat supply company.
Yes, they were attacked and they were crippled and they were asked to pay ransom by the guys.
Yes.
It's so serious, and I'm sure some are taking place in Cameroon. Why are we so careless about this?
As of Cameroon, if I were to get in there from approximate data from Antique, which is the agency, the government agency for cybercrime under Minpostel, says that approximately 4.7 billion FCFA lost during scamming and phishing since 2011. During the same period, 3.7 billion FCFA loss was registered as a result of skimming. Since 2019, the agency has identified 4,226 fake accounts on Facebook, of which 3,337 have been closed thanks to assistance of the technical service. Approximately 5 billion FCFA was lost due to intrusion into information systems of certain private organizations. You have over 7 billion FCFA lost due to SIMBOX since 2010. You have 32 web defacement attacks detected on websites of public administration since 2010. You have over 8,300 vulnerabilities detected on websites of public administration since 2020. More than 6,500 requests aimed at tracking and apprehending cyber criminals received from Interpol and other security services from Cameroon since 2020.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous.
But we are completely unaware.
Excluding the Momo attacks.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the danger. Because recently we know of persons who will just send you a message and say you have received this amount of money, and the moment you go to check your mobile money account, they sweep everything that is inside. That's the reason that is happening right now. I got a report recently, a man in Nigeria who was confessing to have hacked Access Bank and Zenith Bank. I said those are the two banks that he easily have access to the account. He's broken to the account, then extracted money and was arrested. And it's to tell you the amount of money that goes down every year. We talk of people embezzling money. We don't understand what cybercrime also does to the economy. Yes, it cripples down the economy. We talk about people stealing money in the system. There are also thieves who are not sitting in offices. We blame ministers, we blame directors, which also they are playing their part, but there are also cyber criminals who are affecting the system dangerously, crumbling down the economy in a very dangerous way. And a hacker is like an armed robber who uses
nothing less
than a gun.
Nothing less.
Down the entire system.
More than a gun, as a matter of fact, because they can remotely shoot at you.
At any time. So that's how critical it is. Now, imagine advanced technology like the United States of America, Australia, Japan. Hackers can still break into their system. Is to tell us in Africa we are in danger, because these ideologies and this technology came from them. They are the initiators and the founders of this technology. Yet they are being manipulated. Yet people can still break into their system. We know of many Nigerians like the Hush Pupi guy who is right now in America. I don't know if you know Hush Pupi.
It was caught somewhere. I think in Dubai.
Billions.
Yes.
Billions. Yes. I have also read through another man who owns a business enterprise in Nigeria, an airline, who also hacked into the American system and downloaded billions of dollars, which has also helped him to establish an airline in Nigeria. I don't want to mention names here, sabotaging post integrity. So the cyber criminal is as dangerous as the coronavirus. I'm telling you.
Okay, I want this guy to tell us the importance of what we are discussing about Ayaba Carlson from Yaoundé. Eli, seemingly you are not okay. Carlson tells me you have received it. I doubt why you are not sending the stuff on air. But we're talking about hackers, and he has painted a very, very dangerous picture, very disturbing actor. If we were to analyze how much the world is losing, what Africa and Cameroon is losing, because we have not taken time to secure our cyberspace.
Yes.
These hackers themselves, if we understand very well, they are experts in the domain. Very intelligent guys.
Not necessarily. I think generally the trend of unemployment has pushed most people to invest. You know, we are in a global world where technology is at the front line of everything. And most people, especially the younger folk, the younger generation, are venting into IT. And because most of them are venting into IT, it starts with simple scamming. Just take a simple example, like a scammer. It starts with this person trying to pick up a career and making ends meet in life. And when they go that length to penetrate people, telling them false pretense, telling them negative stories on things they have or they can offer as goods that they sell, and people start accepting, it's the same like some of the guys who have done IT, because I know of people who have done IT, like Cisco networking, guys who are intelligent in information technology. These guys easily go online, look at praise, send messages, make requests, and even business people do make they send applications to companies proposing businesses to them, and when these companies accept. So it's hacking does not necessarily mean it's just someone getting into your phone or getting into your data. It's about someone also telling you, pretending to be someone else,
that is not.
and in which he is not the person. So I think that is the risk we are facing now, and it is the right time that we need to start having get people trained in protecting the cyberspace of this country, because if we don't, with the report that Dr. Kos just presented from Antique, we are going towards a doom in Cameroon, especially now with the coronavirus pandemic, where everyone is at home. More young people are getting into IT, more young people are getting trained. People are looking for opportunities to do online marketing. And you would bear with us that for a while now, most people have created online platforms where they do mostly online marketing. Go to Facebook. Take a simple example. There are many people who have their shops now existing on Facebook. Can you imagine what will happen if someone bridges your system, gets into your site on Facebook when you have a shop, an accredited shop online, gets into that site, takes goods from your site, put them on create a Windows site where they can sell, and people start buying, thinking they're buying from Leo, but meanwhile they're buying from some strange person. So I think it is high time we need to set standards in Cameroon and start fighting about this, and that is why we are here at Essoka Cyber Security Division.
Yes, these guys must be very intelligent. Okay, let's get the first reaction from Ayaba Carlson.
Of cyber security in Cameroon and in Africa, we need to know that there is widespread adoption of new technologies across the business and IST ecosystems. Therefore, there is need for encryption and cyber security concepts so as to ensure confidentiality, integrity, and availability of these information systems. Any breach in this theory, that is confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information systems, is going to cause massive damage, which ranges from reputational damage, financial damage, and operational failures. Cameroon and Africa in particular is undergoing digital transformation. I can cite a few examples. We look at our CNPS. You see that the data has been centralized. It's no more going to the office. You can file in your taxes online. If everything happens to taxation, you can file in your taxes online and you check everything. So you see that we have now many things. Even communication is no more through the post office. It's now through an electronic means. Buying of things is no more through the regular going to the shop. It's through an electronic means. So this electronic means there's much data being exchanged, which is sensitive data. This data includes personal data, bank data, health data, and all sorts of other data which is exchanged. So you see that because of this sensitiveness of the data being exchanged, we need to realize the importance of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is something which is a must and it cannot be neglected. I'm very happy that Essoka Cyber Security has a cyber division, because we need education to be able to realize the importance of cybersecurity. And cybersecurity concept is like a chain.
Okay, he's going to be coming back. I don't know whether there is a continuation to what he was saying, but I want us to get back to the studio here. He says it's very important. Data that is exchanged from one end to the other is very sensitive, and they need to keep it. But how secure is our cyberspace in Cameroon, and how sensitive is it for our cyberspace to be protected by foreigners?
Wow, big question. Great one. I was expecting you end it that way. Very great question. Very great question. I was hoping that you would end the question the way you ended it. That's a good question. They say the power of great questions inspire change. So so that is a good question because of the underlying realities that Africans need to focus on. The underlying realities is that we could talk 1,000,000,001 words about cybersecurity, but to build the infrastructure that is going to prevent jobs in the industry from going to the Western world, from going abroad, from going to other people, that is going to secure these jobs for Cameroonians themselves. Because while we talk about more problems, there is more business. There's more money to be made by solving more problems. But the issue in cybersecurity now, which is a sub industry of the IT industry ecosystem, the IT industry ecosystem made $5.2 trillion US approximately during COVID-19, while companies were going bankrupt, people were losing their job. This industry made 5.2 trillion USD going up. How big is such an industry? And cybersecurity is at the top of the industry. Information security is at the top of industry. You have networking, cloud, maybe hardware service and infrastructure, IT management infrastructure, IT management and strategy going down there. But information security was at the top of an industry that during a global crisis made 5.2 trillion USD going up. And how could Africans be a part of this market? How can Africans be a part of this market? Africans can be a part of the market not just by doing to cybersecurity what they have done. I think you did mention something about education from the beginning, which I was very pleased about. Not by doing what they have done to other sectors, other industry sectors in the world. We need to be a part of this solution by understanding the structure of the industry. If we are going to mitigate this issue of jobs going to Western world, just imagine in healthcare, before I really conclude on this issue, what we do in healthcare in Cameroon. We buy healthcare, we buy medical technology from abroad, just like information technology. We buy medical technology from abroad, bring it to Cameroon, import the labor again from abroad. It's not enough that we don't make the equipment. We have to import the labor again from abroad because the educational system is not industry based. You are not going to repair an equipment from Johnson & Johnson if you didn't make the equipment.
That's true.
You made the equipment here. You're talking about the theory of the equipment, the history and the geography and the chemistry of the equipment here in Cameroon, while Johnson & Johnson is making its equipment and its technicians. So in cybersecurity, we could talk 1,000 words about cybersecurity, but we need to build technical background in cybersecurity that will receive job contracts in the cybersecurity market, not through self-pity, but because we Cameroonians deserve it, because it is meritorious, because we are meritocratic, because we have the meritoriousness that is required to be part of the market. Put an Indian and a Cameroonian tomorrow. I want that the market should be fair. I want a Cameroonian to have an opportunity to win that market. So in our campaign in cybersecurity, one of the greatest slogans we have is cybersecurity for Africa by Africans, cybersecurity for Cameroon by Cameroonians. And the way we will achieve that is to go through industry-based standard education, not by taking the education from your backyard. You make a plane from your backyard without standards, I'm not going to put my family into that plane. So how do we bring cybersecurity in Cameroon in a way that it would increase employment, in a way that would provide respect to us, in a way that it would open the global job information security job market for Cameroonians? That is through standard training, from standard bodies, from standards.
My issue is the confidentiality. We're talking about sovereignty of a nation, and sovereignty also has to do with some sensitive information that are being circulated in our country. For example, our passport is gone digital, maybe ID cards and a host of others. Isn't it actually imperative that Cameroonians should be able to manage and secure this? Because if we can't, it means that we're going to import guys to come and secure it, and this
yes, Mr. Le, what you just mentioned is very sensitive and very, very pertinent. I think Cameroonians or those in authority listening to us should take this particular point very serious. It is very strange to realize that individuals from out of this country are the one running our own cyber system here. Your ID card is not produced by a Cameroonian, but we have Cameroonians who can produce that ID card with the same technology or a different technology in the cyber domain, which these people do not have. But instead, it is Spanish people who are producing an ID card. How do you explain a Cameroonian work with an ID card, the information, the data system is in Spain? How do you explain that I'm running with a passport, that the data system is in Spain? The Cameroonians themselves do not even know the source of the information. In other words, the people are the one controlling from outside what is running in this country. And if we don't start building our own data, I was going to a particular TV station, there was a particular problem with the data system. They have to contact some people from China who had to walk over the internet and through some gymnastics over there to set up the thing here. As long as those guys are not here, that thing cannot operate. How do you explain the cost of transportation if you have to displace those engineers to come here? How do you explain the cost of payment? Because you're not paying them in your currency, you are paying them in their currency. Doubles the interest, the amount of money that's supposed to be paid anyway. And then the delay also, the TV system can be standing for almost a week until they have the chance to come down here. Now with the COVID-19, that traveling were restricted. If at all that thing occurred within such a period that nobody was supposed to travel, it means they were to wait till COVID-19. Imagine all the inconveniences. Is that telling us that we do not have the brains, the skill, and we don't have the creativity? Because I saw an app just like WhatsApp created by a Gambian. I saw an app.
I saw it as well.
I think I have the app here. It's created by a Gambian. Now I'm asking that why should we be using only Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube? Are there no Cameroonians who create Why two?
Does that go to the standards you're talking about?
It goes to standards.
That's what I'm talking here.
We have to have, first of all, evolution into industry into you see, cybersecurity does not excuse us just because it's important. It doesn't excuse it doesn't excuse the fact that we are centuries away from setting up certain issues. That's why I use healthcare. The issue that is in healthcare is this issue that is in cybersecurity as well. And your point is very important. We need to start, and that is industrialization. Before we enter into industrialization in cybersecurity, we will not enter because cybersecurity comes to excuse us for our lack of industrialization.
Of course.
It is the absence of industry education that leads to lack of industrialization. We are predominantly promulgating academia as opposed to industry.
That is exactly what I
And we have limited resources in Africa. We have limited resources in Cameroon. Our resources are limited. We are not coming from. If Africa was a family, one family, we are not coming from rich parents, where we have unlimited resources. So if we take from your stuff, from the very good example you gave there about can Africans not build systems that would promise this the what he raised as an issue, the confidentiality,
yes.
the you know, of our own information, the integrity, the confidentiality and all of that of our own information, that would promise that these are things that are built come off that like that. They had policies and structures that that permitted the development of corporations like Facebook, multinationals like Facebook, that has procured WhatsApp and Instagram and all of that stuff, and that are data hungry institutions. So for Africa to get there, like we're talking about in cybersecurity now, is a major issue, and you're saying how could our data, our passport, and as he answered the question and everything, this we need to start building up. The building blocks towards that are for us to develop industry standards for the industry to be able to accept us, our own part, it's a global partnership for the industry to be able to accept. You realize that Africans are not accepted a lot into a couple of things. They are always giving you, even English, I'm sorry to say this, but you speak English here, you go through GCE level, A level, and you want to go out, they tell you to do TOEFL.
Very bad.
That global acceptation is important. We need to meet up with standards. We don't need to say that through self-pity we develop. And the word Africa doesn't mean self-pity.
Of course.
Africa should, in cybersecurity, to conclude on that, Africa should develop standards and standard education. And that standard education is supposed to come from accredited institutions, and that's one of the things that we are talking about here today. Like what we have in the Essoka Cyber Security Division. Essoka Cyber Security Division is an EC Council accredited. So we could not be talking about a Cyber for Africa project, a Cyber for Cameroon project without this standard. It's an EC Council accredited training and exam center. Otherwise, you have to travel to India to go and take an exam in cybersecurity, or to the US. You can now take it in Cameroon.
Okay.
At one of our centers. Okay. Number two, imagine a child is excited about cybersecurity tomorrow. Getting it from this show, and they're like, I want to do cybersecurity. Oh, I want to do cybersecurity. What do you do with that passion? What do you do with that? What do you do with that passion? Where do you send that child to? It's important. It's not about Essoka Cyber Security Division as per se. It's about whether there is a promise for that child in the global market tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's a question I was going to ask him. Many persons are into general studies today. Lots of history,
a lot of it,
sociology, and a host of others. But seemingly, this is a sector that has been neglected by parents and students alike. Yes. Are there huge opportunities in this?
Let's look at it. Take a simple example: a medical doctor today in Cameroon. How long does it take for a medical doctor to get trained and become a doctor? Start from basic, getting into secondary school.
20 years.
Good, thank you. 20 years. And look at cybersecurity as it's the entry level in cybersecurity. It's first just having the knowledge, be the capability to be able to read and write. As long as, let's take a child for example. I remember Dr. Coach mentors young people. I know he has children who are at the age of 11 who have already started a career in cybersecurity. It starts with the CSU, which is the Certified Secured Computer User. It starts with every young person, every Cameroonian of read and write age, to be able to secure first themselves. It starts with learning how to control your computer, control your television, be able to put codes on the decoders and all of this, be able to access your phone, because every young person now at the age of 12, most young people are using phones. They're using Android phone. We are in an Android age. Now, these young people have the knowledge already how to browse, how they have Facebook pages, they have Twitter accounts, they have Instagram accounts. All this is building data for yourself. Take, for example, if they get into your system and if they get into, and the way the data exchange is, the simple issue, take ID card. Let's take just our ID card. The data of your ID card that goes to MTN, that goes to Orange and all of that, it means you are exposed. Everyone is exposed. So if you take a little child who starts a career in cybersecurity at the age of 12 by doing a certified secure computer user, it's basic, simple or not, it's a work-based program where you can be going to school and still studying your certifications. That's why Dr. Coach talked of standards, because we cannot attain these standards without having the international demands, the international requirements to get these certifications. A young person getting into secondary school at the age of 12 will take basically 3 months to get a CSCU if the child gets all the lesson notes from our course. Will take basically less than 3 months to get a certified secure computer user, and then the other professional certifications that we have, which Dr. Coach will elaborate talk about, those ones take 3 years. So by the time a medical doctor in Cameroon, a child going to secondary school takes 20 years to become a medical doctor. A child who takes a career, let's even step up to 15 years. A child at 15 who leaves secondary school and takes a career in cybersecurity will take little less than 3 years. And it's a work-based education where you study and you have a job. And I think this is where we are looking at. So by the time that child gets to 18, the child is already a professional.
Yeah, but my question is, are the jobs available readily?
That's where we're coming in, because the training now, it's open. So Dr. Coach can actually elaborate on the different technical specificities.
Okay. What are the opportunities in this cybersecurity stuff in Cameroon?
Fine. Thank you so much for that. You see, in cybersecurity, the job opportunities are per certification. For example, you have to choose a domain area. And to talk about that, I just want to provide more clarity on what he said. Yeah, you can take a professional early childhood education in a specific career path. That's good. But let's talk about the issues that are at hand right now in terms of those who are at the work eligibility age, like from 17, 18. Those who are going out of advanced level, who are writing probatoire and all of that stuff, especially during getting into the rentrée scolaire. What kind of careers can they take? And keying it to your question, that there is a lot of general education. What kind of careers can they take, and what jobs? So I want to build the answer around that, around those ends. What kind of careers can they take, and what jobs are available? In terms of career, there are domain areas in cybersecurity. First of all, it has to be structured. So, for example, cybersecurity, you have vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. That's a domain area. You have cyber forensic for law enforcement to investigate cybercrime. Now you have a series of certifications that are in that. And then you have network defense and operations. You have a series of certifications that are in that. You have software security. You have a series of certifications that are in that. And those are domain areas. And then you have IT governance. Of course, if you want to be an auditor, but that will not be a start domain area for cybersecurity. So I use one of this to answer the question: vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, because that is a super trending area. And I'm going to tell you why I'm using that area with respect to this idea of jobs, because this idea of job is a complexity. To understand jobs, you need to understand choices, the law around choices. African countries teach their children to make decisions based on emotions and passions. But companies don't make products based on emotions. The companies who make products, who make money, the multinationals, they make money through needs, meeting needs of their communities. But African children are taught, after getting out of advanced level, to follow their passions. And if your passion is in something that doesn't exist, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're wasting your time.
You can follow your passion after you've followed your responsibilities and met needs. Then your passion could be to buy a Bentley convertible or a Bugatti or a Lamborghini. Then you can buy it when you have that money. But the first thing is the need to be met. So it's not about your passion, it's about the needs to be met. The industries that are trending are the ones meeting greater needs of the society. In cybersecurity, in terms of ranking, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing is at the top of the chart. And you have about 4 certifications there. I'm specifying so that I answer your question in a very conclusive way. You have a certification like Certified Network Defender. You have, after that, you have something like Certified Ethical Hacker. You have a Certified Ethical Hacker practical license. Then you have a Certified Penetration Tester that is a 24-hour exam. You sit down and you write a 24-hour exam. Then you have a Licensed Penetration Tester Master. Each of these certifications are an ISO 17024 certifications, which means they have what you call an interoperability marker on them. When you have an international license with a mark on it that has ISO 17024, at the American embassy, that tells the person there that you have the permission to travel, to work anywhere in the world, because the American embassy is not the mother of laws. They are also respecting international laws. So that is like a travel passport. First of all, that's like a travel passport. Is that what Cameroonians search for when they want to internationalize, when they want to globalize? So you realize that the idea of work is job potential. What job potential does your license carry? If I take it about maybe 1 or 2 licenses away from Certified Ethical Hacker, which is a core license in the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing part, a certified a CompTIA A+ globally, which is like 2 licenses away from a core license in cybersecurity. A CompTIA A+ is a required license to work in the U.S. Embassy IT department. When the U.S. Embassy buys computers, they don't come to Cameroon and they're like, oh, do you have some people who have graduated from the University of Boya who have PhD in computing? Because when you bring that to the American Embassy is going to ask you, the University of Boya make those computers in there. When we bought these computers from the industry, they told us that this is the IT technician that is supposed to service this computer. If we use this other person, the insurance we have on these computers is null and void. So the American Embassy, when they have job vacancies, they specify the international license there. CompTIA A+, which is an ISO 17024 certification, which is a certification that has gone through DOD, the U.S. Department of Defense directive on job roles. So what is the potential? And the salary for a CompTIA A+ ranges from about 45,000 USD to about 62,000 USD per annum. If you convert it to FCFA, maybe that should be between the tune of about 2 million going up. So imagine somebody with an international license that is worth about 2 million going up, and you're graduating from University of Boya with a PhD in computer.
20 million.
From a university that doesn't make computer. Now the question is, what is the job potential? Both in Cameroon and in the international market.
It's 20 million.
It's 20 million you're talking about.
I'm talking about per month.
Okay.
If you convert that per annum into your salary per month. So work is about your potential, your negotiating potential with the certification that you have in your hand. So in terms of cybersecurity, the job market, the current market for cybersecurity is large. But Africans are not getting there because they don't have 2 things. And I'm ending this. 1, they don't have the required certifications. 2, they don't have the journeyman path. The industry needs to see you journey into a specific certification, that you are an expert in the field, and then that level of expertise beyond reasonable doubt is a bargaining chip in the job market. That is the concept about work. Work is not procured through witchcraft. It's procured through meritocracy.
Okay, let's get over to Yaoundé to talk more about the threats posed by this from Ayaba Carlson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo, for the second question, which will talk about the existing threats that are faced with cybercrime. For me, the first and the most common is identity theft. Mr. Leo, today we have all sorts of social media sites. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have this and that. And where these social media sites, we give up our information. We give up our names, we put our pictures, we put the kind of things we like, the kind of places we visit. And now there are cyber criminals on the internet who look at all this information. They can take this information and clone you. That's they create a different profile with all these stuffs. And somebody else may believe you are the real person. But now they use your profile to be able to ask money or commit a crime, and it goes to your name. So that's one of the most common forms of threats which is faced with cybersecurity, with cybercrime. The next one is espionage, and espionage happens mostly at the government level, where governments are spying with governments. A most recent example is in the case where Edward Snowden of the United States exposed then President Barack Obama for spying on foreign governments. This is very possible by hacking into devices, hacking into telephones, knowing SMSs which have been exchanged, or listening to phone calls is something which is done. Another form of threat which exists in cyber crime is critical infrastructure damage, where somebody can access a device and make the device to break down. I think we have seen this mostly in movies where somebody holds a phone and the phone explodes, or a computer explodes because another person is controlling it from somewhere. It's a form of cyber crime. The fourth which I'm going to talk about is organized crime, and there is one name which has been indicted and jailed in the United States, where he performed a form of cyber crime called organized crime, where they pretend they access bank emails, they steal information, and they pretend to be their bank to be able to track money from people's accounts. The fifth kind of threat I'm going to talk about is phishing via malicious link, which is very common in Cameroon. When we look at our WhatsApp messages, we see people sending links. Click on this link to win credit, click on this link to win a visa, click on this link to win lottery. And many people are not aware that these links are actually a doorway which you are giving into a cyber criminal to be able to hack into your phone. And when he hacks into your phone, he has access to your bank details, your personal details. Most of these links, dear TV viewers, you do not click on them. The sixth form of cybersecurity is malware on apps. Because we're in a digital world, everybody has an Android phone, an iPhone. You just go to the Play Store and you're looking for an app and you download whatever nonsense and you install on your phone. Meanwhile, that app comes into your phone to be able to steal information. Luckily enough, most of these phone providers have realized this, and before installing an app in your phone, they always tell you when you install this app can use your camera without your permission, can use your microphone without your permission, can do this without your permission. But previously, we were not having that kind of message. So you download an app and install on your phone, and the app in your phone steals many things from your phone, and you don't know. The last one I'm going to talk about is social engineering, which involves psychology manipulations. Because most of your things are online, most of your information is online, some people come and
Okay, Carson was actually outlining some of the threats that we faced here. I'm sure you talked about some of them already. Now, when you look at Cameroon and Africa, the capacity we have, do we have what it takes to effectively combat this, or we have miles to go?
For now, I think we don't.
Okay.
That is to say, we may have the technicians, but they are limited. The space to cover and the amount of labor at hand. You know, they used to say many hands do light work. For instance, Dr. Coach is here. He's exposed. He has the information. You and I, if we bring 10 persons here, you discover on a ratio of 10 persons, it's only 2 persons amongst us that has profound knowledge in
maybe just one
space. The limitation we have with professionals limits us in order also to exploit that area. For instance, now we are here. If we call almost 10 persons around the environment, I think Dr. Coach and Mr. Musi will be the only person that can be able to save us. Now look at the workload on ground. You discover that the continent itself is not sensitized to a greater extent. Like this guy who did this something like WhatsApp Sufrika in Gambia. It's something like an app. It's a WhatsApp app. Something like a WhatsApp use of communication. Now, that kind of person is in that country is limited. That brain is limited because this particular system of education has not yet penetrated our system. Unlike if I jump in the street and I say I want journalists, I will have at least 50 or 100 journalists in the space of 2 hours. But if I want cyber engineers, now I jump outside and I say let them come out. In the space of, let's say 100 persons, will see only about 2 persons. So I don't think Africa has the manpower now and the technological know-how to fight this thing to a greater extent. And that's the reason why we have more scammers being born every day, because it seems like it's an easy way to make money because there's nobody combating that area. An area that has defense, we have limited criminals in that area. The reason why thieves there are not many around a barrack because there's so much defense in that barrack. If we have more criminals and hackers and scammers, it's a clear sign that we don't have more defenders in the cyberspace.
Which means that there are so many job opportunities.
It's wasted because if we have a lot of defenders in that area, it already creates job opportunity for persons. Now, if at all scammers are increasing in Buduala every day, is to tell us that we do not have a lot of defenders in the cyberspace.
That's a problem. It's a problem which needs solution providers.
Yes, of course.
And when you provide solutions, you make money.
He said something very important here. He said, we have taught children to follow their passion, not to meet needs. And sometimes your passion might not be meeting the needs.
Yes.
So our passion sometimes, okay, I just look at the way that guy is playing football, I want to play football, because passion is a reflection of what you admire in others.
You enjoy literature so much.
So much. My literature said the way he teaches literature. I just
Passion is not a profession.
no, we are just talking about you love it so much.
So much, yes.
Then you go for
pursue
it.
it.
You
Even
have a
if there's no
degree, you
job,
have a master. After that,
there's no
you
job for
sit
it.
at home and you.
Beautiful.
There's no job for it.
You have a beautiful certificate.
There's no job for it. Now look at what is on ground right now. Banks are in troubles. Petroleum companies are in troubles. Companies are in trouble.
Individuals
are in
Everybody.
troubles.
Yeah.
Now it shows that one is a major problem in this age. In other words, if you define the problem of a generation, make yourself a solution to it, you will easily become a millionaire.
Perfect.
Now nobody has seen the solution. Hackers can only hack, scammers can only scam, because there's nobody to counter their operations. So if we have work and counter the work of scammers, banks will be saved.
Of course. Institutions.
Institutions will be
Corporations.
saved. Universities will be saved.
Yeah.
Companies will be saved. If there is somebody who sits in an office, for instance, a major multinational company, his business is to make sure that he defends every penetration of any scammer or hacker, that person will pay huge sums of money. Like what happened in the AU house in Addis Ababa. China built that building for $200 million. Then planted a chip inside the system that relates every information from the AU house back to China. It was an IT engineer who sat in Addis Ababa and discovered that informations are filtering from the house, AU house from Addis Ababa to China. And the way he discovered it, if he was not experienced in that area, he blocked it. As he blocked it, immediately the AU, maybe he was a temporary worker there, they have to make a permanent worker, because he identified a problem and gave a solution to the problem. That is what many institutions today are going through. Banks that have been hacked, more money systems have been hacked, companies have been hacked. If you come there, you are a cyber engineer, you can be able to fight against cybercrime, because you are like a police officer but on the machine.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, police on the machine. And anyone who fights crime brings solution to problems.
Very great. And as you spoke, that reminded me of a very particular certification to that effect. A certification that really doubles down on the point that you're trying to put out there. One of the major certifications in forensic investigation that is used by Interpol is actually currently one of the certification tracks that we do in Essoka Cyber Security Division in cyber forensics. It's called Computer Hacking Forensic Investigator. As I said, it's an ISO 17024 certification. How easy is it for a Cameroonian to get that certification? But that knowledge is not known. And with Computer Hacking Forensic Investigator, you receive an international license as a forensic investigator for agencies like Interpol. And our judiciary system in Cameroon, as you're talking about the idea of the fact that we have more crime because there are less mitigators.
Of course.
Imagine that we right now in Cameroon, to actually effectively punish black hat hackers and criminals, we need to have a judiciary that connects to computer hacking forensic investigators, or else Cameroon judiciary system cannot effectively currently punish cybercrime. Without computer hacking, ISO 17024 computer hacking forensic investigators. But that program is available, but you're going to see a parent send the child to go read philosophy.
And it has to be
We're not meeting that need. We're supposed to be following the trend of the need in our society. Not the trend of, not traditional trends, not traditional trends. What happened the day before yesterday? So this is just to double down on what he's saying about the idea of how
the prairies
could be met.
Yeah, the prairies of Canada, the pampas of Argentina, the nomadic farming in the Masai region in Kenya. Yes, and then you have a shifting cultivation in the Ganges Valley of India, and then lumbering in Sweden, then fishing in Japan.
I remember cramming those things, you know.
I mean, I'm just watching him. You know, you talk about it, and my own line comes in. And I remember Ash and Cedar Cones. Yes. I remember a professor, a teacher from 2, telling us to take down notes about Ash and Cedar Cones. And when he finished lecturing, I was not taking the notes yet because I was super confused. He said something like, Ash and Cedar cones are made out of ash because they are called ash and cedar cones. That's why they are made out of ash, bro, because they are called ash and cedar cones. Right? And I was like, I can't write this. I can't write this. Which part do I write? The first part or the last part?
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot in our minds. There's a lot in the system of education. Our whole system, our minds are all just living in an illusion.
We need to respond to need. It's not mocking. We're not trying to mock Cameroon. We're trying to say one of the better ways in Cameroon for us. The resources are so tight.
We need to ask what we need to move forward today.
Yes.
What is it that people need today, and provide the solution? And we can only provide the solution by educating ourselves, acquiring the skills and knowledge to be able to provide solutions. This one says, good evening, Mr. Leo. I must confess the program is very, very educative. Your programs are always the best. Thanks, Doctor, for his energetic analysis and good approach. If the country can reason well, these are people who are supposed to work in the country's intelligence units. Doctor, please, for your number. Greetings to you all at the studio, especially Apostle Ambe. This is Metro Bless writing from Kumba. Okay, I'll send you doctor's number so that you can get to him. You also say, Mr. Leonard, please do tell Apostle Ambe that I need his number too. Okay, I've told him, and he has said. Okay, Tabingu from Zangtabi Momo Division says, hi, Mr. Leo, co-panelists and the crew behind the camera. A big five to your program, Prime R. I strongly believe that our cyber crimes is initiated due to idleness and unemployment in the country. The only force against cyber crime is job creation and employment. Let the ruling regime be aware. Okay, they have gotten you. Good evening to all of your great men at the studio. As we speak, my Facebook account has been hacked by someone which I don't know. This matter is serious, Mr. Leo. Okay, a very serious matter there. Now, what is it that we need to do to equip ourselves to be able to secure our cyberspace in Africa and Cameroon in particular? Mr. Musi?
Well, first it starts with let's say Cameroonian. I want to contextualize it within Cameroon. It starts with us Cameroonians taking international standard certifications in cyber security. And this certification is the CSCU, which we're offering. It's a Certified Secured Computer Users. And it comes with a module and follow-up courses where you're taught on introduction to security, you're taught on how to secure operating systems, you're taught how to manage malware, antivirus, and internet security, you're taught how to manage security on social media network sites, you're taught how to manage email communications, and you're also taught how to secure your mobile devices. You're taught how to secure your cloud, that's your internet systems, your database systems. You're taught how to secure network connections, and you're taught how to manage your data backups and disaster recoveries. So this is the coursework for obtaining the CSCU, which it begins with securing every individual. And we are actually offering these courses at Essoka Cyber Security Division. And the reason why we are coming up at this time is because we don't want to encourage parents. We want to inform parents not to allow children continue in that domain area, especially children of the working age of 17, 18, who are leaving high school and getting to university, and even children who left university and they're not having jobs. I think this is the right moment to start with that certification. That's the entry point certification for cybersecurity. You must do the CSCU. That's the entry point. And when you finish with the CSCU, you have the other 5 vulnerability areas, the 5 other certifications, which are the VAPT, the Vulnerability Assessment and Penetration Testing area. You have the Cyber Forensic. You have Network Defense and Operations. You have the Software Security and IT Governance. These are the 5 other certifications, which are professional certifications that we offer. These are the 5 other areas which have many other certifications included in these areas, where we are encouraging people, after doing your CSU and you want to pursue a career in cyber security, you can now take these professional certifications which are job oriented. And I think that is what we need to do. And parents need to encourage these children to start with this certification now before we are caught. Because if we are talking about, I mean, all of us will agree here that the diagnosis has been the Cameroon cyberspace is virgin. look at just the scammers that we have in Cameroon. We look at the number of scammers we have, the money they are making and misusing the money. Can these scammers not take these certifications and be trained and become professionals and create possibilities for other young people to benefit or learn from them? I think they should rethink. They should have a rethink and take these certifications, because I think they have the basic knowledge that is required.
Instead of taking money,
taking false money, they should work
to protect
the cyberspace in Cameroon,
because they have some knowledge.
Yes,
already.
they have the knowledge already. Right.
What's the difference between, somebody just wrote, ask them, what is the difference between a scammer, a cracker, and some other thing?
It's not a scammer, a hacker. Probably they're trying to talk about those differences.
Yeah.
A hacker is more of an in-depth person in cybersecurity, because a hacker does a lot of issues like, for example, sniffing and penetrating, like intrusion detection and intrusion prevention infrastructure. They do a lot of SQL injection. They are more in-depth. A scammer pretty much could be somebody who uses social engineering to allow you to reveal information about yourself, and then they use that information to get to you to go after your bank account or stuff. A scammer is more of a boy in the quarter, and a hacker is an actual special force. Black hat hacker.
A special force.
Yeah, actual special force. A scammer is just somebody who is talking about what you have these children going around and talking about puppy selling and all of that stuff. Mostly it's about scamming. Selling puppies. They are not really involved with using information and communication technology skills. They are not really involved with using skills around those domain areas.
Because I mean, easily
a scammer does not necessarily need to have an IT computer related skill to be able to extract or scam you. But a hacker is a profession. A black hat hacker or white hat. A white hat is an ethical hacker. A black hat hacker is an unethical hacker.
You get it?
Which one are you?
Which one am I?
It's a white hacker.
Of course, I'm a white hat.
It's a certified ethical hacker.
Okay,
I'm a certified ethical hacker,
hacker,
and a computer hacking forensic investigator, and a certified EC Council instructor, and a certified secure computer user. I'm an advanced education coach as well. So in terms of cybersecurity, those are the certifications, and we needed to go through that so that we not just talk about certifications in Cameroon that you haven't been through, and you're trying to promulgate that across the country.
Okay, greetings to you guys in the studio. I started the program late, and I noticed it was very interesting. Please, I wish to know more about the Essoka Cyber Security Division. If you really want to get interested, or if you're interested in what they're talking about, we're talking about cyber security.
Right.
Yes, you can request for their numbers here. I will send you their numbers if you want to talk to Mr. Musi or Mr. Dr. Coach. Please, you request their numbers. I will send it to and ask for Apostle Ambe. You always have his number. Yeah. Can we get the last intervention of Carlson Ayaba from Yaoundé, talking about the opportunities out there?
Thank you, Mr. Leo. So we talk about the growing need for cybersecurity professionals. One of the factors that has to push this need, that has to prove why we need more cybersecurity professionals, is one, the number of people who are using the internet or cyberspace has increased. IPv4, which is IP Protocol version 4, was created in 1982, was meant to serve just 4 billion people on the internet. But today we have more than 4 billion internet users. Because when we talk about internet users, we don't only mean a computer or the phone. Today we have security cameras which work on the network, we have television which work on the network, we have air conditioners and smart homes which work on the network. And because there are many different kinds of devices which work on the network, it means they are vulnerable. They can be attacked by somebody. So somebody, for example, an air conditioning system in a grocery store can be attacked by a competitor because he wants to kill the air conditioning system to make the meat rotten. So you see that because of that, because of the growing number of users, we need more cybersecurity professionals. The next thing is we have become too reliant on technology in such a way that we cannot go back. And because we have become too reliant, we need people to protect that technology. Imagine a day, Mr. Leo, that all ATMs in the city of Douala do not work. Do you know how many people will be frustrated? You see that many people will be frustrated. So we see that because we depend too much on technology, we also need to protect our interests in that technology. We need to protect our benefits in that technology. Therefore, we need cyber security professionals to be able to make sure that these systems are working perfectly all the times. Be able to make sure that these systems are working perfectly all the times. The third thing is the government now requires many companies to subscribe to be able to protect data of their users. We can see a government policy which was signed 2 years ago via ANTIC, requiring all internet service providers in Cameroon to undergo yearly audits. MTN, Orange, Nextel, Camtel, Swecom, Curling, and many other internet providers in Cameroon must undergo audits where the government comes in to make sure that they are not exploiting the data and that the data systems are safe and can be trusted. The next one which I'm going to talk about is that we have a population set which is old and not used to technology, which is not security aware. For example, today we have people who are 60 years, our fathers, our grandfathers, who are using WhatsApp. They did not have these things in those days. They are just seeing technology new, so they are not really security aware. They don't really know what to do or how to protect themselves over the internet. So that's why we need more cyber security professionals to be able to come and create an equal platform for them in such a way that their data online is always protected. And the last thing which I'm going to talk is that many of us still have old technology. One of the easiest things which hackers can attack is an old technology. That's why we always have new technology updates so as to protect the system. But because in Africa we still use old phones, old computers, it means it's a breeding ground for hackers to come and steal our data or steal our intellectual property. That is why there must be a growing need for cybersecurity professionals in Cameroon in particular. Thank you very much, Mr. Leo.
Okay, thank you too. Carlson coming in there from Yaoundé. You say, okay, please, for the numbers, good evening to you. I've sent you their numbers. You can get to them too if you want to talk with them. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. Very educative subject. Please, could you give me doctor's number? Okay. I'll send you doctor's number after the program. Just request for that after the program, please. Hello, Prime. We study petroleum engineering. Now the industry is in crisis. 4 years gone, no job. Was this also a bad option? Tambe is writing from Bonaberry. Good evening to you, Tambe. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Your program is very rich. Keep up. Wish to have the number of Apostle Ambe. Prosper is writing from Yika in Boya. Good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm Theophile from Yaoundé Olembe. Greetings to all the panelists. I like the topic. I have passion in doing computer studies, but I'm short of funds. Okay. Yes, this one says, good evening. Please, must someone be science inclined to be a cyber security expert?
Yeah, science inclined according to what? Yeah, but so you see, a science inclined. So I'm not trying to be, insultive. But science inclined according to something that is a variable, and when that variable is taken away, you are no longer science inclined. You are science inclined according to what? We are called to serve the human community. That's the sign. That's the thing that you're inclined to, and we need to move the inclination from subservient, substandard education to objective-oriented education. Education that meets needs of the society. Education that is flowing according to the needs. And I'll just go through some few things you see. Somebody asked there, a lot of children and a lot of kids studied petroleum engineering. The name sounded good. The appellation was exquisite. The articulation was impeccable. But the world is a different world. When you leave your room, you put on your clothes, you go to the kitchen, you use kitchen utensils, you go to the living room, you use the Samsung TV, you get out, you take transportation. What educational system are you in that provided one of those things? That's the real world. If you did not provide it, no matter how articulated it is substandard education. Because the industries that are serving the world do not serve the world according to their passions. They serve the world according to their needs. They don't serve the world according to their inclinations. All these words that we're giving children has buried talent in Africa down. And so if you want your child as a parent in Cameroon, especially in Africa, do you know in 2014 International Monetary Fund called the Ghanaian government and asked them to reduce the number of civil servants? That's because we are overbearing here. The healthcare sector, for example, in Cameroon, is going to take, if you ask a parent, a child is about to be in healthcare, or what is the child going to do in healthcare? Nurse, doctor. But the healthcare industry, the need of the healthcare industry is medical technology. Take medical technology away, we return to the 12th century. That's where the need is. But parents are not investing in children becoming biomedical technicians. They are not investing in them becoming biomedical technicians. So this is a very crucial issue. You do not, that thing about what you are inclined to do, what you are inclined, and children, the last thing I have to say is this: children are taught, students in Cameroon are taught to be students. That's what's their mind, a student forever, not an investor. I'm going to invest my time in this. How do you know how to invest your time as a learner? You have to ask yourself, what is my return on investment? That's an investor-oriented question, not a student-oriented question. Stop remaining a student in your mind. Ask yourself, especially in tertiary education, when I invest my time, what am I going to get as return on investment? What company is currently trending, providing values to the society? And when I invest my time, what return on investment am I going to get? Not that I am science inclined.
So you don't need to be science inclined before you
don't need to be science inclined in the industry. If you ask yourself if the industry is a trending industry, if you want to belong to the market, you compare and see this industry and this industry, which one is more trending, which one provides more job and work opportunities for me, which one provides more networking for me. You need to be responsible before you meet your passions. Then you choose the industry, and the industry is going to have a complete journeyman path that starts from the beginning for you. Even if you're a novice, go through intermediate, go through advanced, and go through the expert level.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Elvis Lukong, writing from Limbe. I love your program. Please, I wish to you give me doctor's number. Thanks. I'm sure I'm going to send you doctor's number. Greetings, Mr. Liu. My regards to all the panelists. I wish to find out from the cyber security experts, is it possible to effectively stop hackers when USA with high-level security systems is not being able to successfully stop these smart enemies? Jason is writing from Equatorial Guinea. Good evening to you. Jason. Good evening, Mr. Liu. My name is Tamfu Mbonso in Yaoundé. The program is very interesting. I think unemployment is a cause of high level of cyber criminality. Yes. Good evening, sir. I'm Milton Achu, writing all the way from Bonaberi, Douala. I'm a human rights activist, special monitoring mission in Nation. Don't know. I love your program. Number. Okay, I've said you guys should ask requests for this number after the program. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm enjoying the program. I want to know more about Essoka Cyber Security. It's Timothy writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Timothy. Good evening, Mr. Liu and co. Thank you for such educative program. Please, I really want to know more about Essoka Cyber Security. Information is power. I now have a wide understanding about cyber that I didn't even learn in school. Please, for doctor's number. Celia is writing from Chang. Good evening to you, Celia. This one says, Veluyan John, based in Douala. Good evening. Good evening to you, John. We are talking about this Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa. Now, how do we make up for the neglect that we've coded this sector for this work? It's like in the Bible, they say the harvest is
much and the laborers are few.
Yes. How do we make up for that?
You know, there is something called evolution. Education evolves. And if education is evolving, we have to also change our standard of education.
Okay.
That's very certain. We have to accept the fact that we are in the digital age. And the digital age, things don't just go like that. There is an analysis of so many things that replace so many things in the past. Somebody say, WhatsApp has replaced email, and this one has replaced this. Most of the things we were using in those days, they have lost their relevance. We used to have the charcoal iron that you use. This time our electric iron has replaced it. It disappeared out of the scene. One of the worst things that can ever happen to a people is when they are operating in an age that dispensation has crossed. So as I tell you right now, what we know or what we are very aware of is the fact that this age is a computer age, it's a digital age. And even the digital age, there are some particular dimensions digital that have expired. It's not everything the computer you will need. I remember in those days when they used to train computer students, they gave them simple things like Microsoft, Excel, and that was all. But this time around, it has gravitated to another dimension that sometimes when you have just basic knowledge in computer, you are like an ordinary person. I grew up in those days. I realized that we used to use ordinary levels so effectively. When you had O levels, we were considered educated. People use it to write concours, and as the days were going by, it was losing relevance. A level came, and then A level disappeared, and then degree, and then master's degree. We are discovering that it's MBA now, to the extent whereby if you do not increase in studies to a certain level, you might not get relevance in the society. So education is evolving. It's obvious that we are in the digital age, and not just that local level of computer that is excelling this time around. People have advanced in the computer era in such a way that if we don't go too deep, we may not be catching up with the next generation. Why countries in Africa that are trying to produce apps? Some people are still learning Excel, Microsoft, Word. What is that? Those are the basics. We cannot remain at the primary level for our lives. If such a person doesn't go out, study, bring a technology right now, we will just be thinking, okay, if you are able to operate Excel documents, Word documents, that is enough. But this is another dimension. We used to watch cyber crimes, forensic cyber investigators, but on television, we don't know if those kind of person. Yes, I watch them in my house on the TV. They call crimes. You see, investigations are carried out by those individuals. They are constantly on machines tracking individuals here. But you don't see it. Even vehicles that are coming today, they are too computerized in such a way that our mechanics who are at the analog dimension are able to handle vehicles today. I'm telling you, you give your car to a mechanic who was operating the manual dimension, you give him an advanced car from Korea today or America, they will just touch buttons there and dislodge everything. In those who do not have to like modules in vehicles. The module where when the vehicle goes off, they put a machine there, they will check where the error is. It was not like that. If you take a mechanic of 1970 and you give them a car today, they will destroy the car. Because cars equally are evolving. I told somebody that as much as we insult Europe for extracting our petrol here, they are also working very hard to stop those insults. They are now producing electrical vehicles, rechargeable vehicles, where they will not need our fuel anymore because we keep insulting them. They come to Africa, they carry our fuel, they take those insults and also they are improving on it. A time will come where they will not need our petrol anymore. They won't need our petrol anymore because they are making vehicles that are rechargeable. That is to tell you that education is evolving. We also have to evolve as the world is evolving, because if you cannot meet up with the new age of education, you cannot compete in the world market. That's what the trouble is. So I think what we have to do right now, even as much as some colonial curriculums have been imposed upon us, this man grew under that curriculum, the colonial system. How did he break out of that status quo? There are individuals in the country who grew under the colonial curriculum, but they have broken out of the status quo and they have come up with something different. How do we come out of it? Should we create curriculums and attach to the colonial curriculum which have been imposed on us? Or should we create private institutions that individuals can go there and come back? Only us recognizing those certificates. And that's what the problem is, because if you don't have O levels in Cameroon, A levels in Cameroon, first degree in Cameroon, you are not considered an educated person. If you have, for instance, you have his certification from his institution, because it does not have that big name like UBA, University of Bamenda, UB, University of Boya, Ngwa, SOA, they will not consider, of which that document coming from this Essoka Cyber Security is more effective and more powerful and can even give you a better job than the fat degree in IT. Then now the name is Essoka Cyber Security Division. It doesn't have that flamboyant name. It doesn't have Ngwa. It doesn't have UBE, University of Bamenda. It doesn't have UB, the place to be. It doesn't have SOA. That it came from SOA does not make a SOA. You can come from SOA, you don't SOA. You can come from SOA, that's the university, and you don't SOAR, SOA. So it's just the name.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Great job. Your programs are always the best. Please, can I have a doctor's number? I'm Dam Ngufo, a graphic designer. Okay, this one reads, good evening, I like your program. I am a silent listener. Please, I need the number of doctor. I want to contact him. It's Mr. Ekale Molika. Okay, yes. Can you guys just request for these numbers after the program? Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm really enjoying the program. For today, please, for Dr. Coach's number is Stanley, writing from Kumba. Yes, please read my text on It's a nice program. You say, please read my text on it. It is a message, and it is scammers are in Limbe that people should go and check them in gardens. I'm Thierry from Limbe. I want to know more about this cyber security. Okay, please beware of them. Good evening. Good day, Mr. Liu. I need the white hacker's number. John writing there. Okay, there is a white hacker here.
The white hacker.
Mr. Liu, thank God for you. Your programs are very educative. More grace to you, sir. Thank you very much. Greetings, Mr. Liu and crew. You are doing a great job. Can I have the WhatsApp number of the Essoka Cyber Security? I don't know whether the numbers are WhatsApp or I don't know. But then, Mr. Musi, who is a target? Who is exposed to this? Because we have the impression that hackers can only attack a big, some institutions that are somewhere. Who is exposed to it?
I and you, we are exposed to hackers. So long as you have all your data online, we are all exposed to hackers.
So whosoever is running a school, know that you are exposed. Yeah.
As long as you have your data connected to any platform, you are exposed.
I remember some years back at High TV where I used to work. Our computer, our server, was hacked. We lost practically everything in that computer. And then some guys wrote to us that we should pay them some money.
Exactly. Ransomware.
Yeah.
Ransomware attack.
We call it ransomware attack.
Okay.
Ransomware attack is a predominant attack. That is currently what is the world is losing billions now. And I talked about GBS, the meat supply in Mexico, that they had their other franchises shut in Canada and the US and all of that stuff. Ransomware attack has taken billions out of corporations, and that's basically the introduction of a Trojan. A Trojan is like a fake file, because like a Trojan, something that is looking real, which is fake, like as the name implies. Introducing a Trojan through an email or through a link and asking you, like, this is a link from UBA. You're not looking at the link well. They say UBA, but then maybe there's a little error there. Maybe it's UBA.com, but it's UBA.com. There's a UBA, a little arrow.com.
Somewhere, yeah.
Somewhere. There's something that is not clear. And you've had banks release millions. You have a patient in the hospital telling a bank through an email to release millions that he's bedridden. And you're not looking at the email address properly. And the patient's email address is, let's say, John at johnf@gmail.com, and you see John F.R., little small R there,
very
at
little,
gmail.com, and you release 75 million. That is bedridden, can't come now, and all of that stuff. Banks have fallen prey to this. And so releasing ransomware attack is a very nasty attack, and the file gets into your computer, holds everything captive, everything, refuses access to your basic, even login access. Sometimes it doesn't refuse login access. Your computer could be on, but you cannot access your file, your file explorer. You cannot even access a file, specific apps that you are accustomed to. You cannot affect. You cannot, apps that you know that are very sensitive to you, that are live or dead apps, services on your computer, and you have to pay. You have to pay.
Take even a TV channel like this with all the data that you have in the system. If they introduce a Trojan into your system and you click on it, the technician or whoever is on there clicks on it, the whole system shuts down.
What about your
phone?
phone?
All the data, everything.
What about your phone with all your notes as a journalist and everything, all your important, everything? Maybe the postal's messages.
When you hear us saying that everyone is prone to hacking, it means here that black hackers are looking more, getting into systems, no more through the front door, because there is a presumption in every system that every company is looking for an IT engineer to sit on the front desk to protect the system. Like you get into an office, you have a secretary sitting there, you have to pass through that secretary before you meet the boss. Most banks, most institutions, organizations, everyone is, even on your phone, you have just a pattern before you get into your phone. That is not enough, because your phone, even still locked, someone can still access that phone. So what we are saying here is most hackers are not targeting front door staff, back door staff.
They are not targeting technicians.
They are targeting individuals.
They are targeting individuals, end users, or the what you call in French des utilisateurs finaux. They are targeting the end users.
I come through
and
you.
Everybody is an end user.
As an individual, because your phone has access. You are now chatting with people on your phone. They are writing to you. Send me this number. Send me this. As long as you are using that phone and you're working for this television house, My Media Prime, it is but normal that a hacker can go through your phone and get into the system, because every staff of the corporation has access to the systems. So this is what we are trying to create. And I had someone ask the question that if systems or countries like the US, Canada and Europe are not succeeding in protecting their cyberspace, are we sure Cameroon, we can do that here in Cameroon? I don't think the answer to that question would be relevant to say they are not succeeding, because we are only hearing a few of this happening. And that is why Dr. Kosh emphasized in his opening remark that people need to take careers in cybersecurity, and until you develop and you decide to take a pattern in life and what you want to do and follow that pattern, we will not be able to have the kind of technicians that we need. And that's what Apostle said. We need more people, more young people to take this career pattern and forget about the fact that you need this certification from this big university, you finish with a master's, you have a PhD, and that certification is not serving you. So we are actually encouraging Cameroonians, we are encouraging the younger people out there who are thinking of taking a new career in life to get careers that are job oriented and that have impact and that has international standards. Let's forget about the person behind the name. Let's forget about these institutions, but let's look at the certifications and its impact to society.
Hello to you all in the studio. Mr. Liu, I want to thank you for your ever-inspiring program. Keep it up, sir. Please, I would like to have doctor's number. Sandra is writing from Bunaberi. Sandra, good evening to you. Okay, there you go. I want to read the messages here. Mr. Kum, this issue is important because scammers have destroyed Boya. The activities need to stop. Give me doctor's number, please. Can you give me Mr. Fahevis? Anya is writing from Boya. Okay. He says, I also need music. No. Irrespective of the scammers, some businesses works very strong because of them. Anya is writing from Boya. Okay. Don't know what you're saying. Good evening, dear panelists. I enjoy the program very much. Can a child offering technical education on cyber security or do cyber security?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, so you can do it.
Very practical.
Please, sir, I need the doctor's number. Dionysius Foka, writing from Kumba. It's very possible, my dear brother or sister. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm writing from Kumba. The program is timely. More grace to you and team. Doctor's number, please. Okay. I've said we should request after the program now. Keep asking. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Please, can I have the number of Essoka Cyber Security and would like to know their location? Okay. Please, must someone be science inclined? Okay, I'm sure you have that response already because someone also asked the question. Please, the white hacker's number would be of great help. White hacker. Why is everybody talking about?
They just heard that.
Xavier from UK. I really love your program. Please, for doctor's number. Okay. Yes, we should discuss them. Doctor, we are discussing. Now, but irrespective of the fact that Mr. Musi says almost everybody is prone, but are there some core institutions or personalities that have to take extra care because they could be key targets?
Yeah. Hacking has various intentions and motivations for those who hack. There are hacktivists who are political activists. So those who are in the political environment need to be extra careful against hacktivists. And there are of course, the general black hat hackers who are going to hack for criminal organizations and for criminal bosses. They're going to hack to sell data in the black market. And data-driven companies need to be careful, such as telecommunication companies. So there are general CEOs of companies who, for monetary reasons, and then financial institutions, not for the sake of the financial institutions themselves, but for the sake of the very meaty clients that they have. Banks that have meaty clients that whose bank accounts go deep, need to be extra careful with how they play around with their a payment card industry, the data structures and the standards that they have, the ATM standards that they have. They need to be careful with that. They need to be careful with issues about awareness programs. You see, there is a program in cybersecurity called Computer Hacking Forensic Certified Secure Computer User. That is for everyone else. That is not in IT. It's just for a citizen of this information security era. Every era has a citizen. This era is an information security era. Its citizens need protection. What type of protection? And it will be very shocking that I'm going to answer this question by saying the first person that should be concerned about this is not the president of a country. It's not the DG of a bank. It's not the DG, the Director General of a telecommunication company. It's the individual in the information, the citizen, the basic citizen of the information security era, to protect themselves. It's their right to protect themselves. I'm going to double down on this by saying why. Because in Africa, especially, now that we're going around for almost a decade saying that cybersecurity is not our business, we are being used as, how can I call it? We're being used as a decoy, like an opaque body. And so when somebody wants to obfuscate a crime, they're going to hack several of our computers that are hackable. You used to see viruses like Ambe virus. You could see a virus of your chief in the village, Ambe. You could see a virus. So you could see, because our computers are excessively vulnerable, our digital assets are excessively, our networks are excessively, they are open, like you sleep with your door open. How does the criminal market use that information? For every basic citizen in Africa, each citizen in Africa, of the 54, 55 countries that are in Africa, each citizen that is not protected of every country adds to obfuscate crime from being investigated. Because instead of hacking some MTN directly, I'm going to hack MTN by hacking your computer and using your computer to hack MTN to obfuscate my crime. Imagine I use 7,000 of you. How difficult do I make the job of forensic investigation against that crime? Just because millions of Africa. So the more Africans continue to say as a citizen of this era that you don't need to protect your digital assets, the more you are promulgating crime, directly or indirectly.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody's... Good evening, sir. I would like to know the location of Essoka Cyber Security Division. I'm a student wishing to do cyber security in the university, so I need more enlightenment. I'm Mbake Silas from Douala, and please for the white hackers number. There is no white man here. I don't know. Yes. Mr. Leo, good evening. What an interesting program. Please, I need the phone number of the cyber security team. Isaiah is writing from Kumba. Good evening to you, Isaiah. This one reads Stanley Bright from Bamenda says, good evening, Mr. Leo. Please talk to us number. He has really inspired me this evening. Thanks so much. Okay. Thank you too for watching the program this evening. Good evening, sir. Your program is very interesting. I'm Musa Sali from Mora. Please, with doctor's number. Okay. This one says, actually, we need to make computer sciences compulsory in our educational system, especially in Forms 5, because it's from there that the children start learning the basics of computers. Stop calling. And cyber security. Emil, computer teacher, writing from Bonaberry. Okay. Good evening to you all, and Uncle Leo. My name is Tabitha. I'm in Bonaprizo. I have a certificate in computer training, but no job yet. Please for his number. But even though the scammers have spoiled all our youth's minds not to learn a computer, okay, Tabitha, you have to believe in yourself. You are different. Good evening, Mr. Kum Leonard. I am Tomboko Ignatius Yibunda in Bamenda. Please, can I have Apostle Ambe's number? I really need his help as of now, please. Okay, you're going to have Apostle Ambe's number. Yes, maybe they have marital issues. Yes, maybe they have marital issues. You had something to give me?
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just indicating the contacts for Essoka Cyber Security Division.
Okay.
Where our office is, we have offices in Yaoundé. If you are in Yaoundé, you can come to our office at Carrefour Ambassade de Belgique. That's in Bastos. Just after the Belgian embassy, you'll see a big signpost there, Essoka Cyber Security Division. And in Bamenda, you come to the Northwest Cooperative Association building at the Commercial Avenue, the 4th floor. The 3rd floor, you come to Essoka Cyber Security Division. In Douala, we are at Rue Koloko at Bonaprizo. You can come there, and if you're watching us out of Cameroon, we have branches. We have a branch in Rwanda. We've opened a branch of Essoka Cyber Security Division in Rwanda, and you can contact us. You can go to our website. Our website is www.essokacybersecuritydiv.com. Essoka Cyber Security Div.com. On Facebook, Essoka Cyber Security, Essoka Cyber Div. And on Instagram, Essoka-Cyber Security-Division. And you can contact us on the following telephone number. Our phone number for our secretariat is 2222-05-233. 2222-05-233, and our telephone number 671-85-7833. For those who want Dr. Kosh's number, call any of those numbers. You will get in contact with Dr. Achu Gustave.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and your wonderful cream of panelists. It's always interesting and enriching watching your program. I've learned a lot, and I'm ready to go for cyber security. Please kindly send me doctor's number. This is Daisy writing from Kumba. Daisy. Now, Sumbele Kelvin writing from Konsamba says, good evening, Mr. Liu, and you are wonderful panelists. A nice topic today, especially as it falls in my domain of teaching. I wanted to find out from our panelists they can differentiate between hacker, cracker, and scammer. Okay, he says, I think, stop calling, please. I think it will be very difficult to control cybersecurity in Africa, in particular in Cameroon in general. Firstly, even government institutions don't use licensed software. They install in their computer devices cracked operating systems and cracked office applications. Another aspect is antivirus, which some of our companies even use a free antivirus instead of licensed antivirus. Not up to 10% of systems are secured in Cameroon. You cannot believe that even most of our companies' websites are not fully secured. But are these not good reasons to get the experts?
Of course. More reasons to get rhetorical.
Bringing out the
as you rightly say, it's more reason to train. The more problems are the more the problems, the more the need for solution. Yeah, and training.
Yeah, but he's raising the concern that it's going to be very difficult to
yeah, which is in tie with I'm thinking his question that works with the question about the fact that even if the US is, I'm like, so if there is a hunger in developed countries, it means the idea of hunger has not been solved. So they should abandon the idea of development for the sake of the fact that hunger does exist, or that a car had an accident, and so Africa should not even think about making a car if Toyota that makes a car and the car had an accident. That logicism is not is very logical. So I don't think that.
Okay, stop calling, please. Stop the calls. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Your program is very interesting. Please kindly send me doctor's number. Roslyn is writing from Tico. Thank you. Roslyn, good evening to you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. Please, Piben Abimel, 13-year-old. Okay? You're 13 years old. Glad to know that you're watching us. Hello, Mr. Leo. Good evening. Congratulations. I love your program. Afoni Elvis writing there. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm Desmond from Batibo. I really love your program. Please, can you help me with doctor's number? Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Ewane from Tico, I love your program. Thank you very much, Ewane. Good evening, Mr. Leo and co. Please, I really need a doctor's number. Is Ben Salif right? Bello, writing from Boya. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please, can I have Apostle Ambe's number because of my marriage problem?
Send it.
Yes, you're going to have Apostle Ambe's number. I'll send it to you. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Can doctor tell us what are the criteria for one to enroll into his institution? Thank you. Yes, they are going to tell you very shortly. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm Dieudonné writing from whom I appreciate your program. It's very educative. I would like to have a doctor's number. Good evening, Mr. Leo. It's Mr. James in Yaoundé. The topic today is very interesting. Please, can I have a doctor's coach's number? Good evening, sir. It's Big Silas. I would like to know more about Essoka Cyber Security. I'm a student of high school wishing to do cyber security in the university, and please, can I have the white hackers number?
Well, you can actually go to our website and for information, but Dr. Coach's number is 699-63-3209. 699-63-3209. On WhatsApp, you can contact him on same number. He's a white hacker, so he doesn't have many numbers. So anyway, so I think it is important to emphasize that we are trying to build career trends for children, for young people, and to institutions, and to offer services in protecting data of institutions. And this is the right time that young people need to make a decision. Families need to make decisions to create jobs for children. And the school year is returning soon, and it is important that children start deciding which career pattern they want to take in life. And it is in that reason that we are recommending you to contact Essoka Cyber Security Division for a necessary orientation on what career pattern to take. I think that is why we're here. We've given you our contact details. Dr. Coach is here to advise on what career pattern you can take. Get to him, and I think this is where we start. As concerns entry level, we have made it clear that we have gone past the level of saying that you need an O level, you need an advanced level, you need a back and all of that. Dr. Coach made it clear we need people who are of that job age of 17, 18. We don't need specifications of saying that you need to have an ordinary level, an advanced level, but basically, if we want to look at it logically, if you have an advanced level, you have a bac, you have a préparatoire, you have a degree to our programs. So contact us as concerns the requirements in terms of fee. When you get to us, we'll discuss that because it's quite elaborate, looking at the different certifications that we have. So this is the right time. Schools are going back. Young people, people should start deciding what careers they want to take.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, and it is important. Yeah, thank you, Apostle. It is important that we emphasize here that this program is a work-based program. That you can be going to school, and still studying. Once you enroll into the program, it's an international certification. Before now, most people did these certifications. They go online, they look for the certifications, they do them, and they travel to India, they travel to the US, they travel to different countries to write the certifications. But you have it here in Cameroon. Dr. Coach is here. We have these certifications here in Cameroon. So I don't see any reason why anyone will complain we don't have the facilities now in Cameroon. And you can be working. For those who haven't, I remember when we were talking to one lady yesterday in an office, the lady said, I actually want to take the certifications. Is it work friendly? Can I be working and sitting? I said, yeah. That is why the certifications are international standards. You can actually be going to school. When you register with the course, we give you a code. We give you an email address where we send your lesson notes, you study, and then you come to write. We have a proctor center in Cameroon, an international examination center in our Bastos office in Yaoundé, where people come and sit and write the exams in international standards, being monitored by the EC Council from the US. So I think all this englobes people taking this wonderful career.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. I love this program. I am Fokem Zuma, Valles, writing from Melon Center. Mr. Liu is Kama Ohaka is a thief, and the new strategy will always come up for a thief to steal. When you use a strong lock, he will break the wall. The problem of the youth should be solved first by creating jobs to the youth in Africa as first measures to solve cyber crimes. Yes, but we still have to protect ourselves. Okay. Daisy says, Mr. Kum, we no longer get Prime on Facebook. I don't know why. Is the program not on Facebook? You should have it on Facebook. Mr. Liu, please, what's the duration of this training? Can you just ask it to them? You requested for the number. Just ask them. It's not. I'm not part of the school. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Please, for the doctor's number, it's Richard writing from Malabo. Good evening to you, Richard. Now, for those of you who have not been able to get the numbers, you can write to me after this. There's people who need Apostle Ambe's number. There are people who need doctor's number and Mr. Musi. Just write to me after the program. I'm going to forward the numbers to you because I can't be
doing that
moderating and then sending numbers. Certainly, you have one last word for our television.
Thank you so much. It has been a very thrilling time with the Apostle here and a great program together with Musi here, and we thank the station for having us today, and for us to not just base this on cybersecurity alone. I appreciate you very much for making it to be broad spectrum. It gives a better perspective for the listeners to understand the environment and all the inputs as a set of everyone here. It's been great. My encouragement is for us in Cameroon to focus on more practical way of thinking. The Apostle quoted something about education evolving. I was so surprised about that because that is a quote from Irina Bokova, which is the former Director General of UNESCO. Talked about the fact that the world is changing, education must also change. This is a very serious issue in Africa, and that more parents continue to install academia for the sake of child teaciousness, for the sake of keeping the tradition, the custom of handing down the culture of inutile education, when we have needs that are really hard pressed on us. They continue to do that. The more, do you know that the international law, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 26, Part 3 says parents have the prior right to choose the kind of education for their children? It's not the government. That responsibility is to mentor. The responsibility to choose proper education is on the heads of parents. To mentor children to choose the right kind of education, and children of adult age must also take up that responsibility. So my greatest advice is to take that responsibility up, and just to go back again on the fact that Essoka Cyber Security Division, for those who are wondering, asking about Essoka Cyber Security Division, we are an EC Council accredited training and exam center. We are a cybersecurity international institution. We are also one of the government auditors for cybercrime, shortlisted government auditors for cybercrime in Cameroon, working with Antique. We are also a checkpoint partner, which is a company, cybersecurity hardware and software, a GFI partner, so international partners in cybersecurity, also producing hardware and software intrusion detection and prevention equipment. So we are actually, the reason why I say this is to help for credibility's sake, to help the audience understand that we have a background in talking about these things, in encouraging the audience to pursue careers like this in cybersecurity, to be able to provide the context of the market from the point of view of Cameroon, cybersecurity for Cameroon by Cameroonians, not Indians coming here. I don't have anything against Indians, but I would want to see my own country people to explore the market in the country, and I am encouraging stakeholders, I'm encouraging benefactors, I'm encouraging peoples themselves to participate with us to secure Cameroon.
License.
And for the last thing I want to say, and we also have a MINFOP agreement for training in Cameroon, and we have a MINFOP license for training in Cameroon. We have an agreement from MINPOSTEL working with Antique also provide auditing and training. Also, one of the articles for that Antique has is to also support training, structured training across Cameroon. And one of the last things I want to say is that for those of you who have been talking about your Facebook account being hacked, there is a step-by-step procedure of securing providing ironclad security to all your information assets, digital assets, by basically sitting on your bed and doing a step-by-step process like WhatsApp, like the way you chat on WhatsApp. You can basically go through 10 modules within 1 month or 2 months of securing everything. I'm talking about your social network sites. I'm talking about your bank accounts. I'm talking about your home networks. I'm talking about your data backup. I'm talking about preventing your credit card fraud. I'm talking about even online safety for you parents, for your children. Online safety. Children are going online and being bullied. Children are going online and being exposed to pornography. So there is a do-it-yourself program. It's not a course produced by Essoka Cyber Security Division. We do not produce any courses. We provide international education from international bodies in cybersecurity. They are all international exams. International education, international exams. We're an accredited training and exam center. So there is a do-it-yourself procedure. You can basically go on. We're actually in our campaign for cybersecurity for Cameroon by Cameroonians. In our end-user campaign, we're actually providing subletting that now.
Yes.
So it's easy for you to be able to get that.
Okay,
it's called Certified Secure Computer User. Okay. So thank you so much.
Okay. Hello, good evening, Mr. Liu. I love the program. Please, for the Essoka Cyber contact. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Good evening, Mr. Please tell Doctor we need a branch in Limbe. Raphael is writing from Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Good job, you guys in the studio. Here is my worry. Scammers have made life easy and sweet to young people. I'm just scared people will enroll on cyber security courses to be better scammers. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Please ask them that for a start, how much can one prepare before look for a basic certificate? Can you call them? I shouldn't be saying this now. Yes, one last word to Televius.
Well, no, I'm not familiar with cyber security. I just came to support. It's been a great. I've also learned, and very, very sure I'm interested to learn also more from here.
Especially to secure our Facebook pages.
Yeah.
Thank you too for coming.
Thank you very much, Leo, for the opportunity having us here. It's my responsibility to communicate this to the public, and I think it is the right time that Essoka Cyber Security Division is coming into Cameroon with this broad experience, because one thing we want the public to understand is Essoka has been in the business. The credibility we would know is Essoka has a physical security and it's been in the business of plus 26 years, so it gives a reason for us to trust what we are about to do here, and having license and certifications from EC Council and license from MINFROP, I think this is the right time. I keep on saying that let's build careers that have a need in our present dispensation. Okay. I think that's what I'm saying to all the young people out there, that it is the right time. Make that decision now for your future.
We want to thank you, Mr. Musi, for coming, and to you, Dr. Coach, for coming, and not forgetting you are our permanent consultant, Apostle Ambe, Valentine, Ngwa. We're grateful you were present. Also to you, Carlson Ayaba, who took part from Yaoundé.
Yeah, he was very instrumental.
Yes, IT genius. I call him a genius because he's doing great things. Also to you, Eli, who is producing the show, and Desmond and Bertrand, Noel, and the guys at the broadcasting. We say thank you. Not forgetting you, Tabi Tambe Bryant, who is supervising the work we do out here. Stay blessed. Bye bye.